All right, pretty much got them all done. I think they're looking really good for my abilities anyway. So yeah, this one I completely welded up. This one I'm gonna hold off on once I get the engine in the car. I'm just gonna check the placement for, I don't know why, something tells me just to hold off on that one. So I'll figure that out. Yeah, I was also trying to figure out where I wanted to put my oil drain for the turbo. I was trying to figure out a good spot, and I figured right in here, because the oil pan sticks out just enough where I can probably weld a fitting, two fittings on, one on each side of this the harmonic balancer. It'll make it real easy for me to hook up the oil drain lines to the turbos. We'll be right in the front. I was looking around trying to thinking I can like put it on the side, like over here somewhere, but it's so crammed up in there. And then I started looking at the front of the engine and then noticed that the oil pan kind of sticks out on either side, and it'd be just enough room to yeah, weld the tube into the pan where it's sticking out on either side of the harmonic balancer. I think it's gonna be perfect. All right, well, I'm gonna get to cleaning and yeah, taking this engine apart. Alrighty, so I got the engine and the transmission separated on here on the floor. Got that over there. I got this set up on the engine hoist because I'm about to hoist that up and stick it on the engine stand. Now the stand I got over here, one of the reviews that I read online is that somebody had put their engine onto the stand and a weld had gave out. Now I'm over here inspecting the welds on the stand, and the only weld that I see I might be a little bit worried about is this one right here, that's in here. You can see it comes a little thin around, like right in that area. It's not really, you know, too thick. I mean, the rest of it don't look too bad, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up with a wire wheel, the paint, and I'm gonna make this bead nice and fat and fill this whole groove in. Yeah, so this way I don't have any troubles and I don't have to worry about my engine falling off the stand. It's the only weld I'm not too confident about. So I'm gonna go ahead, fire this bad boy up, and yeah, got that all welded up. I got the power steering pump off. It was just two nuts and it slid right off, so I got that disconnected. I think the only other thing holding the engine to the cradle is just the motor mounts. So I just gotta disconnect that motor mount and this other one on this other side. And yeah, should come right off. So right now, before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and take off the pressure plate and clutch. I'm gonna take off this coil pack. I'm gonna take the alternator off, the alternator bracket, and the coil pack bracket. All right, got the engine out, off of the cradle. I'm gonna roll that outside, and in a couple days probably, I'm gonna take the pressure washer, pressure wash that off, and pressure wash the underbody of the Camaro out there. But for now, yes, we got the engine out on the stand, and we're gonna roll it over there. We're gonna clean up our mess first, and then we're gonna roll it over there and start taking it apart. All right. I got the top off, valve covers off, lower intake off. All right, so yeah, I got to get these rockers off, and then we got to replace the springs and the retainers and the valve seals, because it shouldn't be too hard, and it came in the kit that I bought, so we'll just change them too. Originally, I was just going to swap out the springs, and then I actually called Intense Racing that deals with these engines, and they said I should change out the valve seal and I should swap out the retainer as well. Alrighty, I got the rockers out. Right now I see a bunch of sand and crud that was in between the valve cover and the lower intake manifold, so I'm gonna go grab my shop vac and I'm gonna start vacuuming that shit out before it starts falling down further into places I don't want it to go. Right, getting back to it. So I left off, I got the valve covers off, the upper and lower intake, and the water pump. So I'm down to pulling off the timing chain cover, and I gotta drop the oil. Getting this Earl dropped. Pretty much got almost all the stuff off of the engine except for the oil pan right now. So everything's all greasy and nasty. Timing cover, the valve covers, the intake, upper and lower. Yeah, everything's all greasy and nasty, so wifey's gonna come down, she's gonna help me out, and she's gonna parts wash everything for me. So the little antifreeze elbows that look like this, but the ones that were in this engine, this is aluminum, the ones that were in this engine were plastic. The ends cracked off. One's cracked off in that hole in the lower intake, and there's another one cracked off in that hole that's in the timing cover. So yeah, I gotta pop them out, and then I'm gonna give them to the old wifey over here, and she's gonna clean these up for me. Got Schnookums out there, cleaning, parts washing all the parts, getting all the nasty greasy muck off everything. Gotta get her a few more parts. So I'm gonna pull off the motor mounts for her to wash up and the transmission brackets here on the side and get that oil pan off for her. All right, let me get at it. Me and Baby Cakes were out here cleaning up all these parts. Bada bing, bada boom. Actually, Baby Cakes is mostly doing it all. I'm just supervising. Right, sweetheart?
That's right.
This is the most dreadful part, I would say. Cleaning. This is how I do it, though. Get some gas, a couple containers, and some cardboard, and we go at it. All right, let us get back to it. Or we'll let her get back to it. So we got these new lifters that we're putting in the engine. So you're supposed to marinate these bad boys. So that's what we're doing. We got the lifters here, we got a bowl, and we got some cheap Wally World oil that we're gonna be using. All right, we're gonna let them marinate until we get to the point we're gonna be installing them, which might be in a couple days. Got everything cleaned up, all the external parts, got them all parts washed. Those ones down there, got my valve covers, I taped them up. Gonna get ready to paint them. Gonna paint them blue. And the intake manifold too, I'm gonna paint. And maybe a bunch of the other parts as well, but still considering it. All right, so pretty much I just got the block and the head sitting here. I'm gonna wheel this outside and we're gonna parts wash this next. All right, so I'm getting ready to paint these engine covers and the intake. So I'm putting in the crank seal right now. I'm gonna seat that in and I'm gonna tape everything off. And then yeah, I'm gonna paint these mofos. Alrighty, so I was gonna paint all my pieces today. I actually got them all taped up. I actually was gonna paint the hull upper intake manifold, but I decided to just paint the upper portion. There's actually a cast line going around the whole thing, so I just taped around the cast line. For the reason I'm not painting is because my neighbor behind me here decided he wanted to mow his lawn right now, so I'm going to hold off on sake of, you know, all this crap going to be flying over my way, getting in my paint, and bad enough I'm going to be painting under this tree here. You know, I don't want all this other shit blowing over in it. You know, I know it ain't gonna be perfect, but I want it good enough at least, you know. 20 minutes later, and he put the mower up, so I'm gonna start painting this shit. The next time you'll see it, it'll be blue. Look at that, putting Ford blue on a Chevy. I'm gonna let this dry up a little bit, and then we're gonna put a second coating on of this Duplicolor I found. It is a anodized coating, it says, and it is heat resistant, so we're gonna try this out. Spray a little bit of this on there and see what it looks like. All right, while I'm waiting for that stuff to dry up over there, I'm gonna start parts washing this engine. Let me grab my gas and my parts wash brush, and I'm gonna get started. I laid cardboard down so this way I wouldn't get gas and grease all over my driveway. All right, 14 minutes, 40 seconds. That's how long it took me to do this quick parts wash deal. So, yeah, I got most of it. Pretty good. Better than what it was, so that's all that matters. Got my anodized paint coat on everything, and I think it looks pretty damn good on top of that shitty Ford blue paint color. So, yeah, I like it. So yeah, apply over chrome and shiny metals. I applied it over light Ford blue. So, and I think it came out mint. Gonna let this dry, and we're gonna move the engine back into the garage. All right. And we got the engine back in here, all cleaned up. The only thing left to parts wash is the oil pan. All right, well, that's it for today. We'll see you next time.